This is News 8 Now, this morning.
We'd really love to thank the generosity of our community and the donations and News 8 for doing their Stuff the Bus event and getting a lot of supplies and donations yesterday. We went through thousands and thousands of crayons and markers and folders and paper.
Making healthcare more affordable and accessible to folks. I'm hearing from a lot of people in this district concerns about affordable housing. So expanding community, federal community block grants, and then finally to increase the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour.
People are looking for something to do that's a little bit different. This isn't something that really you can do in our area, and to be able to provide opportunities to make art, it's something we're glad that we can offer.
Good morning, everyone. That was your morning eye-opener. I'm Dua Shar.
I'm Derek Sibley.
It is August 28th, 2023. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, start of the new work week.
Start of the new work week. How was your weekend?
Yeah, it was pretty good. You know, unfortunately, I did get burned. I know you always mention sunscreen. It's funny, I was actually having a conversation with our old photographer, Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he stays at my apartment complex. Ran into him. He's doing very good. Happy for him. But also, I just was out there for like an hour, and all of a sudden I got burned. That's all it takes for me when you're fair skinned.
You should have put on sunscreen.
Yeah, but I wasn't planning on staying out there very long.
But that doesn't matter. You should wear sunscreen every day at the start of your day, even in the winter.
Okay.
It should be in your moisturizer. A little skincare tip this morning to start off your morning.
I feel like that's so, like, I don't know, inconvenient.
It's not.
Just to put on sunscreen and stuff.
Do you moisturize your face in the morning? Oh, God.
No. I mean, yeah.
We're going to move on.
Okay. Well, I mean, you know, shower, put your clothes on, that type of thing is pretty much the daily routine. But we got mostly clear skies right now across the area, and it looks like the mainly clear weather conditions are going to continue here for quite some time, especially throughout the rest of this week. So let's take a look right now, and you can see just a few passing clouds with temperatures right now into the 50s. We got 58 in La Crosse, 57 in Eau Claire. Winona is currently at 55, and we got temperatures into the 40s. Black River Falls, Sparta, Volkfield here. Well, actually, Volkfield, you were into the 40s. Now you've warmed up in the low 50s, but Sparta and Black River Falls still the cool spots right now. City Cam 8 showing some partly cloudy conditions out there now. We do expect conditions to turn mostly sunny as we head through the day today. Temperatures warming up into the 70s by 11, and then we're into the low 80s as we head into this afternoon. So a check on your allergy report is showing that everything is on the high side for weed, ragweed, and mold, and the same here for tomorrow. The ragweed pollen season will continue at least for another couple of weeks before possibly begins to settle down. So we'll talk more about your full weather forecast later on, plus a check on your dog walking conditions coming up in just a few minutes. Dua?
Thanks, Derek. Well, let's get to some news this morning. A few traffic alerts for La Crosse and Onalaska area viewers this morning. State Road 16 near Landfill Road in Onalaska will be undergoing repairs due to the concrete buckling during last week's heat wave. Goddard Street between Caroline and Bainbridge Streets in Campbell will also be closed today for sewer work. That closure is expected to last for the next 2 weeks. Small business and nonprofit leader Rebecca Cook held a cookout in La Crosse. The event was held at Badger Hickey Park to help bring awareness of her campaign for the 3rd Congressional District seat currently held by Republican Derek Van Orden. During the event, Cook outlined some of the policies her campaign would focus on if they won the November election.
Making healthcare more affordable and accessible to folks. I'm hearing from a lot of people in this district concerns about affordable housing. So expanding community, federal community block grants, and then finally to increase the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour.
Cook plans to do a 19-county district tour to help drum up support for her campaign. The Coulee region's only synagogue celebrated a milestone. Members of the congregation Sons of Abraham celebrated their 75th anniversary of being at their current location, as well as the 150-year anniversary of being located in the La Crosse area. Members celebrated with beanbag toss games, a bouncy house, a music, and of course food. Rabbi Brian Surley talked about how the synagogue has changed over the years.
History is very important to Judaism in general. A lot of our holidays have to do with connecting to the past. Here in La Crosse, we're part of history, but we only get to hold it for a little time. This little piece of time. I'm here 4 years out of this 75. And so we get to hold it and carry it along for the future. We want it to exist for our children and our grandchildren and other generations as well. The demographics have changed a little bit. You know, as the older people, my generation retires and moves to Florida or moves to be closer to their kids in Madison or the Twin Cities. The next generation is taking over.
Members also celebrated by creating a time capsule which is scheduled to be opened in 75 years. The La Crosse Area Family YMCA hosted their back-to-school drive at the Dahl Family YMCA. Families were able to stop by and fill their book bags with school supplies to help students get ready for the start of the upcoming school year. One organizer said the donations provided by the community help different families with different types of needs.
We'd really love to thank the generosity of our community and the donations and News 8 for doing their Stuff the Bus event and getting a lot of supplies and donations yesterday. We went through thousands and thousands of crayons and markers and folders and paper.
One parent said that the drives like the back to school one are a major help for communities in the family.
I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I needed some school supplies, and I got word that this was going on, so we came out, and it's actually helped a lot.
The Dahl Family YMCA was able to provide school supplies, clothes, and hygiene products for over 300 students. The Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Seven Rivers region held a community movie night at Copeland Park. Event attendees received a $5 food voucher that could have been used towards any of the food trucks that were on site during the event. The first 50 attendees also received a free dessert. One organizer said that the event was a fun way to spread awareness about the Big Brothers Big Sisters organization.
We have pamphlets with all the information about our programs, what we do in the community, offering one-to-one mentoring for youth that need and matching them with caring, trusted adults.
The movie of the night was Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Zittelman also said the Big Brother Big Sisters of the Seven Rivers region has events planned at Pizza Ranch and Fox Hollow Golf Course next month. For more information, we will have a link on news8000.com. Wagner Grotto County Park held their annual Art Outdoors event. The event allows artists to create art based off of what they see at the park. Artists created many different styles of art, including mosaics and clay sculptures. The event was hosted by the Monroe County Local History Room Museum, and Director Jared Roll says the event is something that he and the museum are glad to offer to the community.
People are looking for something to do that's a little bit different. This isn't something that really you can do in our area, and to be able to provide opportunities to make art, it's something we're glad that we can offer.
Over 200 area artists attended the event. From school to the stadium, a local music teacher took his talents all the way to Lambeau Field. Hunter Evenson has loved singing for as long as he can remember. Growing up in Galesville, he sang in jazz ensembles, concert choirs, and a cappella groups. After getting his music education degree at Viterbo, he now teaches choir to K-12 students in the Norwalk, Ontario, Wilton district. In his free time, he still participates in local musicals and posts singing videos on social media. As a Wisconsin native, he's naturally a born and raised Packers fan, and he's recently found a way to bridge his love of singing and the green and gold. At the beginning of the year, he sent a video of himself singing the national anthem, not knowing if anything would come out of it. But in early August, he got the stunning message. He'd be singing the national anthem at the Packers' final preseason game.
I was in utter shock because, coming from where I am now, I just wasn't expecting a response.
Evenson says it was the biggest crowd he has ever performed in front of. It was also his first Packers game ever. Before his performance, he said he was focused on making his family and the Cooley region proud. News 8 Now's Michael Germain will be outside of the Norwalk, Ontario Wilton Elementary with more on this story. Well, still ahead on your morning news, Hyundai is recalling nearly 40,000 vehicles due to a software error that may cause the car to accelerate after releasing the brake pedal. And interest rate hikes may be around the corner after the Federal Reserve Chairman revealed the possible next steps to help curb inflation. We'll take a look at that, how it may affect your budget after the break. For now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. Scientists have fully sequenced the Y chromosome for the first time. The new achievement helps to uncover information that may affect the study of male infertility and other health problems. A team of researchers completed this monumental achievement by using a new long-read sequencing technology and computational methods that could handle repetitive sequences. The researchers published a complete Y chromosome sequence in the journal Nature. Don't go anywhere. Your consumer news at News 8 Now this morning is after the break.
We're looking at mostly clear skies right now from our local satellite and radar picture. Just a few passing clouds with current temperature readings mainly into the 50s. 58 degrees in La Crosse, 57 in Eau Claire, 55 in Winona. We are seeing temperatures in the 40s from Black River Falls and into the Sparta area. Oakfield 51, Viroqua just shy of that 60-degree mark, currently at 59. Your zone forecast today calling for our afternoon highs to reach seasonable levels here today with highs into those low 80s. It will be 84 in Berry Mills, highs around 84 in both Onalaska and La Crosse today. Meanwhile, across our southern zones, it will be 83 in Lafarge, 83 in Lansing, and a high of 83 today expected in Stoddard, 81 today in Westby. Now, as we head into our central zones, Melrose, you're looking at 83, Trempealeau, the high of 84 today, Osseo at 82, Whitehall 83, and Black River Falls also at 83. Meanwhile, here in the northern zones in the Chippewa Valley area, a high of 83 degrees this afternoon expected for the Eau Claire area here today. Mostly sunny skies for the morning conditions on the dog walking, and we will be looking at that same trend for the afternoon. We got mostly clear conditions as we head into early this evening. So very nice dog walking conditions out there for the day today. We'll talk about your full weather forecast coming up in a few minutes.
In your consumer news this morning, Hyundai is recalling nearly 40,000 vehicles due to a software error that can cause the car to speed up after the brake pedal is released. The recall covers certain Hyundai Elantra HEV vehicles that were made from 2021 to 2023. Hyundai says they will mail notification letters to owners by October 17th, but you can also check the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's website to see if your car is under the recall. Hyundai says customers can bring their vehicles to any Hyundai dealership to have the issue fixed for free. Members of the United Auto Workers Union have approved possible strikes. The union said that 97% of those who voted approved striking against General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis. The union is demanding pay raise of at least 40% to match pay increases that the company's CEOs have received over the past 4 years. UAW President Shawn Fain said their members are, quote, fed up with living paycheck to paycheck while the corporate elite and billionaire class continue to make out like bandits. The union also said they are trying to win back concessions they lost more than 15 years ago, as well as help protect its members during the transition to electric vehicles in the years ahead. The possible strikes could take place next month. Wells Fargo is dealing with complaints from both regulators and their customers. The Securities and Exchange Commission is accusing the bank of overcharging about 11,000 investment advisory accounts. It says Wells Fargo billed almost $27 million in extra advisory fees due to data inaccuracies. The bank has not confirmed nor denied the allegation, but says they have reimbursed affected customers and is paying a penalty. This comes after Wells Fargo customers have reported issues with their credit cards as well as using the payment app Zelle. In a message on X, the company said they are working to resolve the issues. Lego has announced they will be selling Braille brakes to the public for the first time. The company says special brakes will have studs that correspond to the numbers and letters in the Braille system. Before the announcement, the Braille brakes were only distributed to organizations. The brakes will be fully compatible with other sets and will be available in English and French, with more languages to be released next year for $90. The possibility of future interest rate hikes were center stage at an economic forum in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Fed Reserve Chair Jerome Powell revealed the possible next steps to help lower inflation. Laura Aguirre breaks down how this could potentially impact your budget.
It is the Fed's job to bring inflation down to our 2% goal, and we will do so. Fed Chair Jerome Powell cut to the chase right out of the gate.
We are prepared to raise rates further if appropriate and intend to hold policy at a restrictive level until we are confident that inflation is moving sustainably down toward our objective.
This forecast coming at the same time mortgage rates are soaring to a 22-year high. A 30-year fixed rate is now averaging 7.23%. Up nearly 2 points over this same time last year, according to Freddie Mac. And despite the current pace of price increases slowing this summer, the Fed may not be ready to ease off the interest rate gas pedal.
Although inflation has moved down from its peak, a welcome development, it remains too high.
Chairman Powell says the big picture is what matters when tracking prices.
Core goods prices fell the last 2 months, but on a 12-month basis, core goods inflation remains well above its pre-pandemic level.
Also out Friday, the University of Michigan's monthly consumer sentiment survey, which measures Americans' attitudes about the economy. Despite a slight dip in consumer confidence between July and August, overall sentiment was still far better than last summer, when inflation peaked at over 9%.
We are navigating by the stars under cloudy skies. At upcoming meetings, we will assess our progress based on the totality of the data and the evolving outlook and risks.
Bottom line for now, brace for more interest rate bumps in the months ahead.
Well, that's it for your morning consumer news. Let's check in with Derek and get today's forecast.
All right, thanks so much for that, duo. We're just looking at a few partly cloudy weather conditions there behind me from CityCam 8 and downtown La Crosse. Our current conditions at 58 degrees under those partly cloudy conditions there. East-southeast winds are light at around 5 miles. Now, meanwhile, for you in Eau Claire, partly cloudy conditions here as well. Temperatures at 57, but the wind speeds are much calmer than what we saw here from La Crosse. Meanwhile, on the weather map, a couple of features that I'm watching. Got this cold front here positioned over southern Canada. Also watching this weak trough of low pressure at the surface back towards the west. That could cause a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm or two as we head into overnight, and we'll get to that in a second. But you can see a few clouds moving in here across the area, but other than that, conditions are mainly quiet this morning. With our current temperatures into the 50s, we're seeing 55 now in Winona, 59 in Viroqua, 56 in Boscobel, and temperatures are currently at 56 in Prairie du Chien, 48 in Black River Falls, 48 degrees currently in the Sparta area. And check now on your overall planner. We'll be at 60, mostly sunny at 7. Mostly sunny, 77 degrees at noon today, and then we turn mostly sunny by 4 o'clock with temperatures at 84. Partly cloudy, 77 degrees as we head into early this evening. And forecast highs very seasonable this afternoon into the low to mid 80s. 84 today in La Crosse and a high of 83 expected this afternoon here for you in Eau Claire. So again, mostly clear skies continue now on Sky Tracker. We'll continue that trend with just a few clouds as we head throughout the rest of the morning. And then as we take you into the afternoon, you can see things continue to remain mainly clear. A few clouds maybe developing across portions of our northern zones. But again, I am watching this weak trough though that's forecast to move in here, and that could cause a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm right around the northern and eastern zones as we head to around the 2 o'clock hour overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. Now by 9 a.m. tomorrow, I expect mainly clear skies. We'll be under a northerly flow here on the backside of that trough moving through. So we're looking at a little bit of a wind shift there with a few clouds moving in on that northerly wind breeze there for the rest of the day tomorrow, and mainly clear skies as we take you into tomorrow night. And speaking of mainly clear skies, that's pretty much in the forecast here over the 8-day, and you'll see that here as this comes up with highs into the low 80s through at least Thursday under those mostly sunny skies. Partly to mostly cloudy for Friday and Saturday, but we'll be turning pretty hot though as highs pick up into the upper 80s to low 90s, and much hotter as we head into Sunday and to early next week on Monday as highs climb into the mid to upper 90s. So a bit of a heat wave could be taking shape here by day 7 and day 8. We'll keep our eyes on that. Meanwhile, those lows will be into the 50s and 60s. All right, stay with us. We're back with much more news and weather still to come on News 8 Now this morning. For now, we're sending you a break with a look what happened on this day in history for August 28th. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Morning Blitz. Going into yesterday, the Brewers were looking for a sweep of the San Diego Padres. Not only that, but a win would make it 8 straight for Milwaukee. The offense has been on a roll, scoring 5 or more runs in all 7 of the wins entering yesterday's game. To the always lovely American Family Field, Brewers trailing in the first inning, but with one swing of the bat, William Contreras puts a change to that. He rips a solo home run. We're tied at 1. 6th inning now. Padres lead by 2, but here come the Brewers. Bases loaded for Rowdy Tellez, and he smokes one out to the right field corner. 2 runs come in to score, and again, this game is all tied up. Then after the Brewers take the lead, Sal Frelick is going to blow this game wide open. The rookie gets one down the third baseline, and it's trouble. Weimer and Yelich both score, and the Brewers take a 3-run lead as they would go on to win 10-6. That makes 8 straight wins for Milwaukee. Up next for the Brewers, they've got an important series against the Cubs. Speaking of the Cubs, they entered the day in the playoff picture. They would be the second wildcard team in the NL. First inning, man on for Cody Bellinger. And man, what a season this guy's having. He finds the outfield, a run comes in to score. Cubs strike first. 5th inning now, Cubs still in front, and with 2 men on, it's Bellinger again, this time to right center field. Both runners touch home, and Bellinger makes it a 5-1 game. But he wasn't done. In the 9th inning now, and Bellinger is hitting everything. He gets one down the third baseline. Horner scores. Swanson comes all the way from first to score. It's a 5 RBI day for Bellinger as the Cubs get a big win, 10-1. As I mentioned, they're hosting the Brewers starting tonight. Twins hosting the Rangers, and this one got a little crazy. 4th inning, Texas up 1-0, but with the bases loaded, Jonah Heim is going to hit a grand slam. Clear the bases. Texas takes a 5-0 lead. Minnesota down 5-0, but in steps Royce Lewis. He gives this pitch a ride to dead center, and Royce hits his own grand slam. Twins now down 1. Bottom of the 9th, same score, but Donovan Solano sends one up the middle. That scores a run. We're going to extra innings. 13th inning, bases loaded, and that's ball 4. The Twins with the great walk-off walk. They get the win 7-6 and have a 6-game lead in the AL Central. In case you missed it, Saturday, Jordan Love wrapped up his preseason connecting with Christian Watson in the end zone on his 3rd and final drive of the game. Love finishes his preseason completing 21 of 33 passes for 193 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. That totals up to a 110 passer rating. We saw flashes of good and a few flashes of bad. Overall, he was solid, but the young QB still wants to put it all together before week 1.
Right now, going into it, I'm confident in the offense. I think just when we get to being consistent, hitting on all of our big plays, I think we're going to be tough to stop.
Well, Packers' first game September 10th against the Chicago Bears. That'll do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
You expect more, so thank you for watching News 8 Now.
Well, News 8 Now's Michael Germain explains Norwalk, Ontario Wilton Elementary, how it helped welcome students back to school this morning.
We're here at Brookwood High School, and as you can see, it is the first day of school for this district, so we can anticipate staff and students to be arriving within the next hour or so. From school to the stadium, a local music teacher took his talents all the way to Lambeau Field. Hunter Evenson has loved singing for as long as he can remember. Growing up in Galesville, he sang in jazz ensembles, concert choirs, and a cappella groups. After getting his music education degree at Viterbo, he now teaches choir to K-12 students in the Norwalk, Ontario Wilton district. In his free time, he still participates in local musicals and posts singing videos on social media. As a Wisconsin native, he's naturally a born and raised Packers fan, and he's recently found a way to bridge his love of singing and the green and gold. At the beginning of the year, he sent a video of himself singing the national anthem, not knowing if anything would come of it. But in early August, he got the stunning message. He'd be singing the national anthem at the Packers' final preseason game.
I was in utter shock because, coming from where I am now, I just wasn't expecting a response.
Evenson says he's focused on making the Cooley region and his parents proud as well. Reporting live, Michael Germain, News 8 Now.
Thanks, Michael. 3 U.S. Marines were killed and several others were hurt after an aircraft crashed during a military exercise in Australia. According to a statement from the Marine Rotational Force Darwin, 23 Marines were on board the Osprey aircraft when it crashed. 5 of the injured Marines were taken to the Royal Darwin Hospital in serious condition. An investigation is underway, and Australian Defence Forces are assisting U.S. personnel at the crash site. More people across the country wanted books to be removed from library shelves. According to the American Library Association, requests to ban books at public schools and libraries hit a 21-year-old record in 2022. The group said there were over 1,000 requests to censor library books. The director of the American Library Association says that in the past, individual parents would bring up objections, but now the association says they are seeing organized advocacy groups bringing up objections. The ALA says sexually explicit books and books with LGBTQ+ themes were among the most challenged titles since 2016. The diabetes and weight loss drug Wegovy may help people with the most common form of heart failure. Researchers found that patients who took the drug weekly improved 17 points on a 1 to 100 scale used to assess their symptoms. All of the patients studied had heart failure with preserved ejection fraction. This is where they can hear the heart can pump normally, but is too stiff to fill properly. The study's author says Wegovy helped people with shortness of breath, fatigue, and trouble exerting themselves and swelling. The new study was published in the New England Journal of Medicine and was funded by the drug makers Novo Nordisk. A controlled explosion brought down the remaining cables and towers of the old I-74 bridge in Bettendorf, Iowa. The operation temporarily closed the new bridge to traffic while crews worked to carry out the demolition. The first phase of the demolition took place back in June. The new bridge, which was constructed to help ease the flow of traffic, was opened to the public in 2021. A Minneapolis mother went into labor 3 months early and was told her baby Ace was given a 0.08% chance to survive. While in the NICU, doctors found he had developed a rare disease and that his connective tissues were weaker than most. Stacy Reller has a remarkable story about how after 809 days in the hospital, little baby Ace is finally getting to go home.
Time. It can deal a difficult hand to some.
Our patients who are here for long term kind of become part of our PICU family.
Children's Minnesota sees a lot of bad cards dealt to families.
809 days in a NICU/PICU.
Like to the 2-year-old boy who once stayed here.
His smile is like contagious to everybody. Anyone that walks by and sees him smile, they always start laughing and smiling too.
Meet Ace. Mom Ajane and Dad Antoine welcomed him into this world 3 months early.
He had a 0.8 chance of surviving from the time that I had gone into labor till now.
Doctors discovered that he had an extremely rare disease.
He has Ehlers-Danlos, and that is a connective tissue disorder, so his skin and other tissues in his body don't have the same kind of elasticity that ours do.
Well, I'm basically a nurse, just no schooling. I know everything that there is to know about this stuff now.
Yeah, we worried about him for a long time, and you know, we were afraid that this day wouldn't come. That makes it even more special to know that he's overcome so many obstacles.
My loudmouth lime, I call him, because he's always sitting with his mouth open talking to somebody.
A lion that finally fought his way out of the hospital.
Such an exciting day.
Over time, bad cards may be dealt.
His name fits him, man. Ace, he's one of a kind.
But you never know when an ace is on the way.
So surreal. So wonderful.
For the first time, this ace is on his way home.
Oh, that's been Ace's room for so long, but now he's at home and he's getting to live his life outside of the hospital for the first time ever.
And now here's Derek to tell us what to expect for our morning commute.
All right, thanks for that, Dua. We're looking at mainly clear skies for us to start with this morning, with temperatures mainly into the 50s out there currently. We're seeing 58 right now in La Crosse, 57 in Eau Claire, 55 the temperature currently now in Winona. You can see a group of 40s, Black River Falls into Sparta, currently at 48 to 49 respectively there. Viroqua currently at 59 degrees, and Prairie du Chien right now at 56. Here's a look at the forecast overall today. Mostly sunny, pretty seasonable, with afternoon highs expected to reach around 84 today in La Crosse. South-southwest winds light at 5 to 10 miles an hour. And for tonight, temperatures dropping to 64 degrees, partly cloudy. A stray late night thunderstorm can't be completely ruled out. Maybe a shower or two in some spots, mainly to the north and east though. West-southwest winds at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Mowing forecast here today, 63 degrees at 8 o'clock. By noon, we're at 77, mostly clear. Lots of sunshine by 5 o'clock. Temperatures will be at around 83 degrees. I'll have a final check on your full weather forecast coming up in a few minutes, and we'll talk about the seasonal trend with temperatures, but a warm-up here is coming. I'll get to those details as well. Also coming up in our Buzz Report, Ed Sheeran has announced he will be dropping a new album. We will have the details on the new album when we come back. Stay with us. Just a few passing morning clouds this morning, but other than that, current temperatures look like this currently in La Crosse at 58 degrees underneath some of those partly cloudy skies. East-southeast winds light at 5 miles an hour. Meanwhile, if you're no clear, your current temperatures are at 57 degrees. Also under the partly cloudy conditions, wind speeds, though, are looking much calmer in the Chippewa Valley. So here's a look at the bigger picture on the weather map. We do have a couple of features. I'm watching this cold front here to the north. That's actually forecast to move in later in the day tomorrow into early Wednesday. I'm also watching this weak trough, surface trough that is, of low pressure back towards the west. That could have implications on our weather here overnight to give us a slight chance of a shower or maybe even a thunderstorm. We'll get to that here in a few minutes. But I do want to show you right now, though, just a few passing clouds here across the area currently. But other than that, it's looking nice with current temperatures into the 50s. We're seeing the upper 40s for Black River Falls and also into the Sparta area this morning. But again, the main thing here to take away from this is current temperatures right now into the 50s, looking pretty seasonable out there here already. We'll be at 77 degrees, mostly sunny by noon today, followed by 84 degrees and mostly sunny at 4 o'clock. And then by 8, we're turning 77 under those partly cloudy weather conditions again. So our forecast highs today will be into the low to mid 80s. We'll see a high today of about 83 if you're in Eau Claire, but La Crosse today maybe just a bit warmer with a high today of about 84 degrees this afternoon. So on the sky tracker picture, you can see that things are just looking mostly clear right now. A few passing clouds here for portions of the Chippewa Valley as we head into the late morning, but the rest of us today just looking at mostly sunny skies, as you can see as we forward throughout the day today. But again, getting back to that weak trough of low pressure, that could move in here tonight, and that could give us a slight chance of a stray shower or thunderstorm here right around the 2 o'clock hour or so overnight, mainly for our northern and eastern zones here for us to work with. And then that's going to move here. That's going to move through here as we head throughout the rest of the night into early tomorrow morning. And then behind it, we're looking at some drier and a northerly wind here taking shape as we head throughout the day tomorrow. Maybe a few clouds working off that northerly breeze and sending their way down into the Coulee region. But other than that, we're looking at mostly clear skies as we head throughout the day tomorrow, followed by a mainly clear night for tomorrow night. And speaking of mostly clear, that's in the forecast throughout the majority of this work week with highs into the low to mid 80s, which is a very seasonable week here coming up. But as we head into Friday and Saturday, we are expecting a warm up here with our highs picking up into the upper 80s and even hotter than that, because Sunday and Monday we're looking at those highs picking up into the mid 90s. So certainly possible we could be looking at another heat wave here on the way. So we'll monitor those trends here coming up in the next several days. Meanwhile, those lows mainly in the 50s and 60s.
In our morning Buzz report, singer Liam Payne has announced he will be canceling his South American tour. The former One Direction member announced he has had to postpone his tour due to a serious kidney infection. In a social media post, Payne apologized and said that his team is working to reschedule the tour and refund tickets. Payne was scheduled to play in Peru, Colombia, Chile, Brazil, Argentina, and Mexico. The announcement comes after the singer revealed he was 6 months sober after spending 100 days in a rehab facility. Ed Sheeran has announced he will be releasing a new album after the U.S. leg of his Mathematics tour wraps up. The new album, Autumn Variations, will be available on September 29th and will include 14 tracks about love, heartbreak, depression, and loneliness. The singer reunited with the Nationals guitarist Aaron Dessner for the new album.
Just blended all of that.
The prophet. Why is that a bad thing? Use it. Because all my visions lead to horror.
Although Dune Part 2 has been pushed until March, director Denis Villeneuve has announced that he is already thinking about continuing the franchise in an interview with Empire magazine. He said he would like to make a third Dune film based on Frank Herbert's novel Dune Messiah before moving on to other projects. Gamers will be able to pounce into the cockpit in Whisker Squadron Survivor. The on-rails shooter puts players against randomized enemies during 30-minute battles. The game is currently in early access on Steam. That sounds like a fun game.
Yeah, no, it really does. It kind of makes me into the video game mode right now.
The music makes it seem a lot more intense, and then you see that it's a cat.
Yeah, it's just like bum, bum, bum.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Looks
I was
fun.
like, all right, this is interesting.
Right? Yeah. Cool stuff. I know you're not a huge fan of video games, though, Ray said earlier, right?
No.
Yeah. Okay, well, Dua's lame, so don't mind her.
Whatever. Sorry, okay. Just because you don't know any music.
She has nothing.
You don't know any music.
Okay, fine. That's not my strongest point.
Exactly. See, you don't know most pop culture references.
Okay, whatever.
That's where I thrive.
Well, good for you, Dua.
Great
we got
for you,
birthdays.
Derek.
Okay, we got people that want to celebrate their birthdays, Dua. Okay?
I suppose we can move on.
Here we go. It's time for some birthdays. I apologize that, kept Dua. She kept stalling. What can I tell you?
All right. Take it away, Derek.
Thank you, Dua.
Anytime.
Arlo turns 8 months today. He loves walking with the family dog Harvey, food, and of course his family. Happy birthday. Your turn, Dua.
Adelina turns 8 years old today. She loves gymnastics, the outdoors, as well as her friends and family.
Well, if you know a special someone that's turning 8 weeks, 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88 years old soon, we'd love to feature them.
Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com, and look for the Submit Pictures button under the Home tab. Stay with us. We have everything you need to know today in 5 minutes or less. Your Morning News Now is up next. In our morning news now, a few traffic alerts for La Crosse and Onalaska area viewers this morning. State Road 16 near Landfill Road and Onalaska will be undergoing repairs due to the concrete buckling during last week's heat wave. Goddard Street between Caroline and Bainbridge Streets and Campbell will also be closed today for sewer work. That closure is expected to last for the next 2 weeks. Small business and nonprofit leader Rebecca Cook held a cookout in La Crosse. The event was held at Badger Hickey Park to help bring awareness of her campaign for the 3rd Congressional District seat currently held by Republican Derek Van Orden. During the event, Cook outlined some of the policies her campaign would focus on if they won the November election.
Making healthcare more affordable and accessible to folks. I'm hearing from a lot of people in this district concerns about affordable housing. So expanding federal community block grants. And then finally to increase the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour.
Cook plans to do a 19-county district tour to help drum up support for her campaign. The Coulee region's only synagogue celebrated a milestone. Members of the congregation Sons of Abraham celebrated their 75th anniversary of being at their current location, as well as the 150-year anniversary of being located in the La Crosse area. Members celebrated with beanbag toss games, a bouncy house, music, and of course, food. Rabbi Brian Surley talked about how the synagogue has changed over the years.
History is very important to Judaism in general. A lot of our holidays have to do with connecting to the past. Here in La Crosse, we're part of history, but we only get to hold it for a little time. This little piece of time. I'm here 4 years out of this 75. And so we get to hold it and carry it along for the future. We want it to exist for our children and our grandchildren and other generations as well. The demographics have changed a little bit. As the older people, my generation retires and moves to Florida or moves to be closer to their kids in Madison or the Twin Cities, the next generation is taking over.
Members also celebrated by creating a time capsule which is scheduled to be open in 75 years. The La Crosse Area Family YMCA hosted their back-to-school drive at the Dahl Family YMCA. Families were able to stop by and fill their book bags with school supplies to help get students ready for the start of the upcoming school year. One organizer said the donations provided by the community helped different families with the different school supplies they needed.
We'd really love to thank the generosity of our community and the donations and News 8 for doing their Stuff the Bus event and getting a lot of supplies and donations yesterday. We went through thousands and thousands of crayons and markers and folders and paper.
One parent said that the drives like the back to school one are a major help for families in the community.
I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I needed some school supplies, and I got word that this was going on, so we came out, and it's actually helped a lot.
The Dahl Family YMCA was able to provide school supplies, clothes, and hygiene products for over 300 students. From school to the stadium, a local music teacher took his talents all the way to Lambeau Field. Hunter Evenson has loved singing for as long as he can remember. Growing up in Galesville, he sang in jazz ensembles, concert choirs, and a cappella groups. After getting his music education degree at Viterbo, he now teaches choir to K-12 students in the Norwalk, Ontario, Wilton district. In his free time, he still participates in local musicals and posts singing videos on social media. As a Wisconsin native, he's naturally a born and raised Packers fan, and he's recently found a way to bridge his love of singing and the green and gold. At the beginning of the year, he sent a video of himself singing the national anthem, not knowing if anything would come out of it. But in early August, he got the stunning message he'd be singing the national anthem at the Packers' final preseason game.
I was in utter shock because, you know, coming from where I am now, I just wasn't expecting a response.
Evan Evenson says it would be the biggest crowd he has ever performed in front of. It was also his first Packers game ever. Before his performance, he said he was focused on making his family and the Coulee region proud.
Pretty cool stuff there. Well, here's a check on your forecast for today. Temperatures warming up into the 70s by the late morning, followed by the 80s this afternoon under mostly sunny. Seasonable conditions today to start the new work week. Here's a check now on your 8-day forecast for tomorrow. A high of 86 degrees, mostly sunny. And then we're back into the low 80s for Wednesday and Thursday, followed by highs into the upper 80s Friday and Saturday. And then even hotter than that Sunday and Monday, temperatures potentially warming up into the mid to upper 90s. So we could be watching a heat wave here in the long range by day 7 and 8 to us. So we'll keep our eyes on it.
Getting a little bit of what last week
Yeah,
was.
a little bit of a taste of what happened
Yes.
last week. So yeah, just get ready for that. They could be on the way again.
Oh, well, I'm fully prepared for the
You're
fall
fully
weather.
prepared. It's coming. It's right around
It
the
is
corner.
coming.
So.
I heard the leaves rustling over the weekend, and I pulled out my
there
thickest
you
sweater,
go.
and I was like,
What?
it's
I
time to
know,
wear
too
this.
early for that. Come on. We're still in August.
Well, thank you for watching News 8 Now this morning. Don't forget to keep up with news of the day on news8000.com. And we'll have the latest updates to today's top stories on News 8 Now at noon. Have a wonderful Monday. Welcome back. We'll see you back here later today.